You know, I like to think of myself as somebody who can mature, somebody who can grow and learn and expand my mind. And that's exactly what we have here. This is a bit of a redo, I guess. What's in here is a knife that I purchased sort of, like over a year ago, kind of early on in coming back to YouTube and coming back to doing knife reviews and things like that. We've got this thing taped in here. That is good to see. And I feel like I feel like I didn't give it quite a fair enough shake when I reviewed it before, and I regret selling the one I have, even though this one's a little bit cooler. Yes, you can see it is an 80-20, but this one is an 80-20 full thickness. So this is not the S, this is not the slim version. This is the full Monty, the thick boy right there. And I don't think I gave this knife enough of a fair shake when I reviewed it before. So before I picked up the, I think it was the drop point in camo. No, it was a sheep's foot. It was a sheep's foot. Actually, I remember specifically because I thought the S stood for sheep's foot. That's how ignorant I was in the ways of Demko. Now, to my defense, Demko Knives, particularly the 80-20, is one of the more confusing lines out there. There's the 80-20, 80-20S, 80-20I, and then, of course, the 80-20.5. And I think there's probably a couple more versions in there that I am not aware of. And then, of course, each variant has different ways of deployment and steels and all these things. But I didn't give it enough of a fair shake, and I think it's because it wasn't the knife. It was the knife I deserved, but not the knife I wanted, or I don't know, something like that. To me, it felt too industrial, and it felt too, it felt too practical, right? I was still kind of, coming back into knives, so my brain was swirling around with titanium frame locks and all these crazy things, and then I pick up what is essentially a user-first platform, right? That's what's kind of cool about Andrew Demko's knives, and particularly the 80-20, is it's very much set up for practical first, right? This, first and foremost, this is a knife. It is not going for looks or cool stuff. It is a knife, and that's what it is meant for, and that is why it was invented. And at the time, it just wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't have enough flair to it. It didn't have enough design to it. It felt too much like just a knife. But I have since changed my tune, and in fact, I am reconnecting kind of into my knife user side of things. And I had forgotten about Demko and 80-20s until I popped into one of the groups and came across this bad boy, and I absolutely had to have it. This is the full size, full thickness 80-20. This one is in 3V steel. Where did it say it? I think you saw it right there. CPM 3V. I love 3V, especially in knives like this. This is the clip point with the full flat grind. Perfect. It is robust, but it's also cuttable and sliceable. I think this thing is going to perform excellently. Super thick blade stock, you can see right there, because it's not the slim. But honestly, it's a very reasonable thickness. It's not crazy. I'm trying to see what I can compare it to. I don't really have much that it would compare to, but it's not that nuts. Honestly, not that nuts. And the other thing that strikes me that I forgot about is how lightweight this thing is for its size. Let's get a weight on here. He really did an excellent job getting that weight down. And that's because it's essentially mostly G10. You can see all of this, other than the standoffs, this is all just solid G10. And then he has kind of this cage system that's inset in there, similar to like the Ramlock system. 5.4 ounces for a knife this big and this thick. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And of course, we got the shark lock right here, which is also kind of threw me off when I got the original one that I had. The shark lock threw me off because I'm so used to Demko's having like a pretty stiff lockup, right? Like the triad lock, how you would go to open it up and it's kind of like clunk, and then it's difficult to undo. It kind of gives you this overall sense of like, yeah, this thing is freaking solid. But then you get this guy, and it is fidgety and flies open, if I can find enough room here, and just drops shut because it's running on bearings. And I didn't quite know what to make of it at the time. But I will say right now that I am absolutely in love with this knife. You can see the nice chamfering on that cutout hole there. Really, really cool. Really cool. So comfortable too. Very nice. So this has all the telltale signs of the downsides of Demko designs. And that is usually terrible blade to handle ratio. You can see that here. Giant handle, little tiny blade. But that's just due in part to the locking mechanism. It needs all of this room for this system. Now, could he have maybe squoze a few millimeters and moved this up a little bit more? Maybe, but you can see how low that pivot is. So whenever you see a low pivot set in the handle, that means you're not going to get great handle to blade ratio. Or you can do what Medford does and move it all the way to the top so that your lock face is actually exposed to the elements, which is not the case here. Very cool. Oh man, this thing is nice. I love that OD green. It's got that classic kind of diamond texturing that Demko is known for. This, of course, is made in the US. I'm not sure how old this batch was, 3V in the full flat grind clip point. If anybody knows, comment down below. But very, very cool. I can't wait to throw this in the pocket. Very awesome. I got a pretty good deal on it. Not a screaming deal, but a good deal nonetheless. So very happy to add one of these back to the collection. Now I've got to get one in full tie. I think that is the next move here. Thanks everybody for watching this unboxing. Please comment down below. What do you think of Demko knives, in particular the 8020 series? I think it's pretty cool. Talk to you later. Appreciate you all. See you.